So welcome to IVG,
Thank you.
the Startup Vertical interview.
It's an honor.
And we are very happy to have you here.
Thank you.
I've heard a lot about you, but more than that is what I've read
Okay.
just now through your biography. I mean, it's such a different background that you have, and quite amazed with these stints that you've done. And you've been to China, you've worked with PNG,
Right.
and even more than that, you have been a scientist at the
Senior scientist.
in the hydrocarbon industry.
Yes. I have been the
So
Indian
you
oil.
were looking after the admin there, or
No,
you were saying scientist here?
I was a commissioning engineer with
Yeah.
Indian Oil, and then I was a scientist with Procter and Gamble. So
Okay.
I was making diapers. The Pampers diapers that are sold in India and Japan
Yeah.
are designed by me. I really helped in making sure that the right stuff goes in, which the Indian moms will love for their babies.
So you designed them for the Indian population.
For the Indian.
For the Indian population.
So essentially we had this, you have a lot of items on the menu, and then you need to choose from the menu what will help your company achieve success, because the consumers will really like it. So I used to do a lot of product research in Mumbai, Bangalore, Gorakhpur, Lucknow. So, and that also helped me understand the Indian consumer, what exactly were the needs, and really helped me a lot to grow.
But at the Indian oil thing, I mean, how did you go about that? I mean, how did you get into it?
Sure, that was a campus placement. However, I had this thing. I have my professor S.K. Ray. He's still teaching in IIT Kharagpur, and I was really influenced by this man because of his knowledge and how he could, really take the whole class. The class would be 15, 16 students, and we have an engine, a real life engine from Indian Railways in IIT Kharagpur, and then there is an aircraft and a lot of stuff. He would just take us in there and show us how chemical engineering makes an impact. I wanted to make sure I did not land up in banking or analytics. I wanted to do core engineering stuff. After Schlumberger, Indian Oil was the first company that came in that was offering core chemical engineering job. I took it.
So what's your family background? Are you from a business family, or is your father a professional?
No, my parents are lawyers in Allahabad High Court.
Oh,
Yeah.
oh.
So I knew that studying is good, but I had no exposure as such on what I could do becoming an engineer. I loved maths, so I came to an IIT.
Your first job was where?
Indian Oil.
It was Indian Oil.
Indian Oil, and when I joined Indian Oil, for first 3-4 months you are, not given a hard job. So I also, did part time in a NGO.
Yeah,
So,
I've seen that.
okay.
What was that about?
So these guys were planning to, set up cameras at the traffic light which could read the number plates and inform the police which guys are, really
Breaking the
violating
signal
breaking the signal and stuff.
Yeah.
So they took me on board for making their presentation and also doing some brainstorming on stuff where I could, contribute. In IIT Kharagpur, you have a lot of effort on going social very early. In first, second years, there are a lot of groups which will help the villagers nearby. You have Gopali, you have Gunj, which was awarded recently at Magase in Indonesia. So these are the things that had been really working very closely. And I don't know if you have heard about Tata Jagriti Yatra. So my college mates and a senior Astor, so these guys started it, and we have a very strong inclination to do something and make a real mark.
How long were you with Indian Oil?
3 years.
3 years.
Just a bit less than 3 years. So.
But it's a great company. Actually.
Great, amazing.
Despite it being a government organization,
Amazing.
they're able to compete with the best in the world.
Absolutely.
I know, I mean, they're absolutely top class.
Absolutely. I mean, no doubts on that. And one of my primary reasons for leaving it is because I just couldn't get any rest. I was working a lot, which doesn't happen really in Indian Oil or PSUs. So I was working a lot over there. Couldn't get leave to get back home because one, the work was very interesting. I was getting to start a refinery unit, and then also my managers were very passionate. I'm still in touch with them. Really great guys.
To start a refinery, I know exactly what all goes into it.
Right.
It's amazing design, amazing technology, amazing.
Absolutely.
especially the safety bit
Yes, yes.
has to be taken, you know, that is the prime
Absolutely.
thing.
Right.
Because if
right.
a refinery blows up,
Yes.
you know what happens.
No, the whole city goes up.
Yeah, the whole
At
city
the
goes
least.
up. Yeah.
Right.
So it's such a dedicated job to set up, you know,
It is.
and then to run it. You know, it's equally difficult as running a nuclear power station.
Exactly,
You know,
exactly.
I mean, it may not cause that much damage,
Right, right.
but it can cause enough
can
damage. If
cause
anything
enough
goes
damage,
wrong,
yes.
one nut bolt has gone loose,
Right.
and you have an explosion.
Totally, totally.
So
totally.
it's really tough.
Totally, totally.
So
If
what
you-
made you jump from that to? Did you go straight to PNG? Or how did
I
that
think,
happen?
at that point of time, after about 2.5 years with Indian Oil, my commissioning part had
over.
ended. Yes, and I was moved into production.
Hmm.
It was a lot more boring than
Yeah, because
commissioning.
it's almost automated.
Yes, almost.
Almost
We
everything
were
is
paid
automated.
for
You have to just
for
look at
safety.
a screen
Exactly,
and that's
exactly.
it. Just sit and monitor.
Right. So,
yeah.
so I was really exploring my options to do an
Yeah.
MBA and you know just keep my career moving forward.
Hmm.
At that point of time, I had applied to Stern and Sloan in MIT, and I had an offer from Stern, and about on the third or the fourth day, I had this offer from PNG. And the day when I got the offer was 1st April 2011. So I was not really believing that a mail from China would come, and also the date was 1st April. So
Okay.
I really thought this was some kind of a joke. I didn't reply to them. I was like, no way. And then they started calling me. I joined late because I was not replying. I thought it was some kind of a joke. I was going to MBA, but then this was really amazing. And the whole job description and how I could really impact the stuff the consumers feel and touch every day. PNG really knows how to articulate stuff.
Yeah.
So. It was amazing, and when I went there, it was again a different experience altogether.
But why would China call you? Why not PNG India?
I was in PNG R&D, and PNG didn't have a R&D center in India. Their whole strategy has been around keeping Beijing and Singapore for R&D, because they tried to start something in Bangalore, it didn't work out. They said red taping and bureaucracy really took the heart of it. But so that was the point, and I got approached by a couple of consultants if you want to work in Beijing or not, and they were I'm guessing a lot of Indians who said no. They wanted to have a diverse
I understand.
employee base, and that's how I made some sense to them, even though I was just a BTech guy, and the job that I did was for PhDs.
Doctorates.
Yes, doctorates and PhDs, and I was really very lucky to be there at that point of time, because the guy I was replacing, he heads the marketing of Cofco. If you know about Cofco, they are the biggest dairy powder company of the world right now, because they are the biggest in China, so essentially biggest in the world. So that guy really heads the Cofco international division right now, and I was really replacing very big shoes over there, and I think my experience with Indian Oil and the whole IT Kharagpur training really helped me to take things further.
I personally really love R&D. Any company, I think, must have R&D. Could be R&D, either basic or applied.
Absolutely.
Depends on the company product.
Absolutely.
Depends on the company size.
Right.
And all that.
I think I couldn't agree.
It's a very
with you
essential
more.
part of any company.
Yes. And then just because of this R&D experience, I was very fortunate to, keep my momentum with IIT Kharagpur going. I had this partnership with Kharagpur. I made sure I had some kind of R&D with my professor's blessing. I really, Zapdel is not such a big company to pay for R&D as such. But we had this academia partnership, and our whole genetic algorithm, which is helping the routing, which nobody has, even though a lot of people have got funded in the last 2 years. We have this thing just because we have the support of academia with us.
That's another essential bit.
Right.
And that is an R&D and university academia connection. Again, is very critical for growth of any company.
Any company.
Because there is a different thinking altogether there. There are professors, there are all those people, and they impart a different input altogether.
Right.
In fact, if you don't have it, you should have somebody on your advisory board
Exactly.
from such places.
Exactly.
Because whenever they sit around in a meeting, you will be thinking something, they'll come up with something totally different.
Totally different. Totally out
which
of
may
the
be
box.
much better.
Yes. Yes.
I mean, they may not be business people, but the thinking is a different, altogether different angle.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I think whatever we are doing I mean, my business is very small, and I guess you guys will be meeting, you guys are already meeting a lot of people who are experienced, you are very experienced, and whatever we do to, innovate and spend money around something, that has come up from some kind of a theory or some kind of a lab or, some kind of education. And these guys in academia are really in touch with whatever is happening. Lot of patents every day, lot of papers are publishing, and these guys know what is happening. Somebody working on their desk probably is doing a fine job, excellent job, but it's not his job to know whatever is happening outside in the university. So yes,
cut to the present, when did you start this company?
Zapdel was registered as Boiban Business Private Limited in 2013.
What is the meaning of Boiban?
Boiban means free delivery in Vietnamese.
Oh, okay.
So we started as Boiban It, and it took us a while to realize that the name was very confusing.
Yeah, it is. Even I was trying to think about it.
So we pivoted to have Zapdel, and the idea is to make sure that the name signifies and makes sense to everyone, which earlier it was not. So it has been a journey of about 33 odd months now, and we have grown to 11 cities. Started in Baroda. And
11 cities already.
Already 11 cities.
How do you manage that growth? Well, how do you manage it, locally? You can't be at the same place at the same time at every place.
Precisely.
It's very difficult to impart that DNA into an employee.
Exactly.
That he's supposed to do it on time in the right way.
Absolutely.
Because finally they say customer is king,
but
it is very much so in product like yours.
Right. Absolutely.
It has to be there. In half an hour means half an hour has to be there. Excuses just won't work.
No, it won't.
So how do you do that? How do you get people to believe in that basic thing?
Sure. Essentially, we just for tracking the delivery, we have our mechanism in place, and we make sure that the tracking is done. But as you said, the spirit is really very important.
It's very easy to give excuses.
No, absolutely.
Traffic ho gaya, ye ho gaya, barish ho gaya.
Bike ki chain utar gayi.
All the time there are excuses.
Our first delivery was bike ki chain utar gayi.
Exactly. So particularly this type of thing.
Right. No, absolutely. So one of the great things that has been working in our favor has been that Abhyuday, my brother, who really started this thing from scratch on field, has a lot of experience in Vadodara and in Indore, working with the delivery boys on his own. So whatever staff that we have grown, we have tried to make sure that everybody comes from
that background.
Rises from below. So people have been supervisors. Then if they know some kind of Excel, then they could be also taking care of some business development, because there have been cases in Ghaziabad. We hired a guy as delivery boy. He was an engineer. We hired him as a delivery boy, and he made sure that he groomed himself up into a business development manager. So within 6-8 months, I mean, it didn't take a lot of time, but with the number of engineers and graduates that India is churning out day and day. So we have a lot of people who are talented out of IITs and IIMs, and our real focus has been to get these people work harder in our HR mostly to make sure we hire the right people, and then these are the guys who really make the business spin. So we are doing about 1200 deliveries. Most of it is segregated across cities. 1200, about 1200 across on a peak day. Yes, on a peak day we would do about 800 on weekdays, and weekends will be
more.
Right.
Obviously.
Right. So these are the guys. I mean, otherwise these guys start working at around 10:30 and end up around 11:30 night. And to work for 12-13 hours every day.
Yeah, and on the move.
On the move.
Yeah.
So that's something for which you need to have real strong motivation.
Yeah.
So we have seen people coming and going, but the people who have stayed have been doing wonders. We're really proud of them.
So about funding, you just said that you already done 2 rounds of angel.
Yes.
How did that come about?
So the first round was with a friend. Essentially, he wanted some kind of in the business, because he could really see the potential and probably the passion that was going in. So that guy put in his first chunk, and after that we grew about 15 or 16 times because we just needed that money and we needed to hire delivery boys and show our potential. So we were there in 3 cities, very small. We were just using my money and running day by day. Baroda was making money already, so we were investing very small amount and getting some returns back.
What's the business model? The restaurants are paying you?
Business, yes. Restaurants pay us the commission, and that's pretty much the standard.
5% commission? More?
No, so
more.
The least commission that we have is around 10%.
Okay.
With very strategic partners like KFC or Subway, and essentially 20% is where we play along.
It's good. That means it's just a case of getting volumes.
Exactly.
To turn profitable.
Right.
The per unit cost return is good.
Right.
It's just the simple numbers.
Totally. And just to quote Alima, ELE.me, the biggest food delivery providers in China, Alibaba paid them 1.25 billion.
Wow.
Just 3 months back. So Jack, the CEO there, is someone whom I know, and these guys really wanted us to make sure to go into at least 50-75 cities before going. I mean, they probably won't be coming in as soon because China is actually huge. To penetrate in China and get money is what their focus is. But they wanted us to make sure we are there in 50-75 cities, and only after that we start making some noise. I mean, we start getting seed A or seed B, but as of now, I don't see getting in a lot of city has that kind of urgency because the market's still growing. So I think we have some time in our hand.
What about competition?
One direct competition is Swiggy, and then there are Grab, Roadrunner, Opinio, Shadowfax, the people who are doing core B2B business. So they'll be connecting with restaurants, shopkeepers, or retailers, and delivering their stuff to the consumer. On Swiggy you could basically order food online and they have the delivery fleet who could deliver. But these guys are there in the metro areas, and the whole model is about getting 400-500 deliveries per day and then making profit. We are focusing on tier 2 and 3. We really want to make sure that even with 50-55 odd deliveries in a day, we are profitable. And once we can do that, I guess we'll be making sure we are there in all of the cities.
So how much is the average ticket size? I mean, the bill is what, 1,000 rupees average or less?
410 at this point of time.
410,
yes.
That's the average.
Yes. And 2 years back it was around 355.
Okay.
So it has been growing as we predicted in our model, and whenever we sat down and made the whole financial plan. So it's growing, and I hope with time it will grow even more so that the 20% makes much more sense to us.
So where do you see yourself now as a company in 2 years?
See,
you will be having some projections, some plans.
Right. We really, our model says that we'll be breaking even by early 2018 within the financial year. And as of now, our key challenge is to make sure that we sustain to that point. 2018, early 18. We'll be there in 50 cities, and about 18 or 19 of our cities will be profitable, and they'll be making money for all the other cities. So that's the plan, and to get there is our key priority. So at this point of time, we are trying to make sure that we sustain. Month on month, we count our bank balance, and we make sure that we are there in picture for at least 2 more months, and that's how it's. The thing that I keep hearing from Ram is, till we start making profit, banks are not going to give any loan.
No, it's no longer so, but that's something you have to, it's just a thought that I have.
Right.
Because anytime you have an outstanding and you have a cash flow, and there is something called factoring in finance, where the third party could be a banker or a finance company to step in to advance that much money. And then when the payment comes, it goes to them.
Okay.
So that's something that you could study.
Absolutely.
It helps cash flows.
Right. No, I think in our financial model it has been accounted for. I have read factoring and discounted, but I can get back and check it out.
Just a thought. One more I thought I had an idea which I don't know whether it would apply to you, but considering the type of business that you have, which is basically delivery, errand boys who pick up things and deliver. So why do you need to stay only in food? There are so many other things which need to be picked up and delivered.
Totally.
So you could expand a
Right.
parallel thing
Right.
more from the angle of the logistics of your person traveling. And if there is more things to be done during the same time,
Absolutely.
at the same time, at the same cost.
Right.
So even if you're getting 100 rupees
No,
per
it makes
item,
more money, yes.
it could make it 150 rupees. So the economics will be better.
Right.
Like, nobody has tried in India. You go to London and see, you got those delivery boys who go out on those cycles
Right.
in the city of London
Right.
and they deliver post. That means the
They do
courier
that,
boys,
yes.
normally a courier will pick up today and deliver tomorrow. But same day delivery
They
of
do
post,
that, yes.
that is documents and all that, there is a huge demand there.
Absolutely.
In Bombay, India, we don't have it.
We don't have it. We don't
So
have
if
it.
you're already in that basic service, maybe that can be an add-on.
That's the next step. Absolutely.
You have to just you have the whole system going, you have everything there.
Definitely.
Just add on a few boys.
No,
So
definitely.
without any much additional overhead,
Right.
you have a revenue boost.
Absolutely. No, that is something that we have been talking a lot, and I think at some point of time we'll be eventually, planning much better so that
You can spread out your
Absolutely,
revenue streams.
absolutely.
If you add on a couple of revenue streams
Absolutely.
with a basic thing,
Right.
that also can help in
Definitely.
this type of business.
Yes. And we get a lot of inquiries from, say, hospitals or even DTDC, Blue Dart. They need errand boys mostly. Whatever we have been experiencing is our P cars clashes with their P cars, and eventually once we make sure that our boys, when they are free, more free, then they deliver their stuff. I guess there will be a confluence and.
Because anyway, so that is another just an angle that I brought out. So this interview is going to be heard by a lot of investors.
I hope so.
Would you like to talk to them anything? Would you like to say anything to them?
Sure. Please go and click on zapdel.com, and if you like the idea or if whatever you have heard over here, and if you can relate it to a problem that needs to be solved, delivering food or getting stuff to people who live on the periphery in tier 2 towns, I think we are doing that job. We are the largest food providers in India tier 2, and we'll love to have people on board who can make us better and improve a lot.
So thank you very much for coming in, and all the best.
Thank you so much. Really appreciate it.
And this is a certificate of this interview.
Thank you.
Thank you. All the best again.
No, thank you, and thank you for the honor.
Thank you for coming.